So, all right, give me just 1 minute. Got to test this out real quick, make sure the audio and everything is good, and then we will be live. All right, give me just 1 minute. Got to test this out. All right, sounds good to me. So we're live. My name is Creighton Piper with Crypto Answers, and today has been especially good for the crypto market. There are several reasons for this, but two primarily, and I will go over those here in a minute. But first, let's recap the overall market today. We're looking at CryptoCompare.com right now. Love this website, live coverage of all these different cryptocurrencies. And let's start off talking about Bitcoin first and foremost. It's up over 6.5% today. It was up even more than that yesterday. Very, very good price action over the past couple of days. There have been some positive catalysts and positive news in the headlines, and the FUD is finally starting to die off, just as we predicted. So Bitcoin is almost up to $4,200 today. I think the high for the day may have been right at 4,200, and things are looking pretty good for Bitcoin. Now Ethereum is up almost the same amount, just over 6%. We did start off very, very slow today with Ethereum. Bitcoin outpaced it at first. I think Bitcoin was already up 6% when Ethereum was up like 1%, but finally Ethereum caught back up to Bitcoin, and now here we are, just shy of $308. Now there was a slight pullback just a few minutes ago, but now we're back up almost to the intraday high, and hopefully we're going to keep pressing up. The entire market is looking very, very good today. I mean, you got to scroll quite a ways to find anything that's even in the red. There's Lisk, Emmercoin, Sun Contract, a couple coins I know nothing about, but predominantly, especially the top 20 for the most part, looking very, very, very healthy. Even Litecoin today up 7%, outpacing even Bitcoin. It is up at 56.50. And then Neo, oh my goodness, have you guys been following this the last couple of days? I think yesterday it was up like 35%. Today it's up 16%. So we jumped from $18 up to about 31 just in a couple of days. So everyone is starting to forget about China already, or at least realizing that those people have not been just booted from the market. They're still very much in the market. All that trade volume just shifted from China to Japan. So those people are still participating in the market. They're still buying cryptocurrency. They're still contributing to the demand for all these currencies. They're just doing it through Japanese exchanges. So all of the fear ended up not being as bad as, well, not as bad as the headlines made it sound, but I think that was the intent, to create a very, very attractive buying opportunity for those of us smart enough to realize what the heck was going on. Zcash also, actually Zcash still in the spotlight today, even more than Neo, up over 25%, almost back to its recent high of $300. It's at $293 right now, and that's very impressive. Bitcoin Cash still not able to recapture the $500 level. It's at $460, up 2% today, and not a whole lot of good things coming from Bitcoin Cash. And there's going to be another split. I'll get to that in just a minute. But I anticipate that these offshoots are going to continue to kind of fall off, whereas the primary Bitcoin currency will continue to rise because it has all the notoriety and team behind it. Ripple today is up double digits, up over 11% to 21 cents. Ripple, if you listen to my last couple live streams, Ripple's one of my top 3 altcoin, top 3 picks. Ripple, IOTA, and 10x actually are my top 3. Now, IOTA has been lagging behind the broader market, or especially behind Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's up at almost 55 cents, only at 5% today. It has been lagging the broader market, but I think that's just a short-term thing. I'm sure it'll get back up to its all-time high about the time Bitcoin does, and probably even start to outpace Bitcoin a little bit because of the Tangle Proof system, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, let's see what else we have here. Let's actually move over to CoinMarketCap.com. By the way, if anyone has any questions, any comments, please feel free to chime in at any point during this live stream. I have it pulled up on my phone. I will be answering questions live as they come. So if you want me to talk about a particular altcoin, hopefully I have knowledge of it, I'll talk about it, I'll answer any questions that you have. And also, this is stream number 1 for today. As soon as Alan gets back, guy that I work with, we're going to get everything set up across all of our platforms. We're going to stream on the our primary YouTube account, which is the Crypto Answers account, and I will put a link to that YouTube stream in my in the description of this video, because we're trying to transition all these subscribers from this channel to that channel, and soon that will become our primary channel. So I will put that link in the description. Make sure you follow it. Subscribe to that channel if you are already subscribed to this channel, or even if you're not and you just want to keep up to date with our news updates and recaps, then make sure you subscribe. Anyways, moving on. Here we are at CoinMarketCap.com. So like I said, my top 3 is Ripple, IOTA, and then 10x, right? I always mention 10x in all my videos because I love it, and I really see a lot of good things coming from 10x. And looky here, boom! Finally, we cracked that $3 mark, right? The recent high is up at like $4.15. We are making very, very good progress. I mean, look at that. We spiked off the bottom there as Bitcoin did, and then it's been steadily up since then. We just cracked the $3 mark, and I'm sure that will continue. The CEO of 10x really does a good job keeping everyone up to date on all the news and developments and everything he's trying to do for 10x, and it's paying off. We've been seeing double-digit gains for the past at least 3 days, maybe even 4 days. But I mean, 10x was also lagging behind Bitcoin there quite a bit, actually. I was shocked. I was surprised. But now it is outpacing Bitcoin clearly, up from where I bought it around 170, 180, almost doubling since Bitcoin is off of its low to $3. So 10x has been a very, very good investment in the near term, just over the last couple of days, and I think that will continue into the future. I'm very, very bullish. My position is a very long position on 10x, because I mean, especially if 10x goes live in the United States, if U.S. citizens get access to that, then it's going to be huge. The appreciation that we see on that news is going to be pretty unreal. So we'll make sure that we continue to follow that. Now, gas only up about 4.5% today. Interesting thing about gas, I don't know if you guys have noticed the trend, but it seems to go up, spike up like a day or maybe like 12 hours before. Wow, why am I? Okay, NEO. It seems to almost foreshadow the price movement of NEO. So that's pretty interesting. Like we saw all this price action a day or two ago, and now NEO, the last 2 days, has been on an absolute tear. So pretty interesting. I never bought gas or NEO, unfortunately. I really missed out. I feel pretty foolish at this point. But I'm gonna start to pay a little bit more attention and maybe try to benefit from that, as gas seems to be foreshadowing the price movement of NEO. Anyways, what else do we have here? Anything of note? Civic up 14%. I really wish I would have bought Civic. I contemplated it and did not, and now it's starting to bite me a little bit. Anyways, market cap, the overall market cap, let me refresh this and get a real-time price. Oh, we just topped 145 million. That is excellent. Good news. The market cap at its all-time high was $180 billion. That was when Bitcoin was at an all-time high. It plummeted to about 100 billion, and now it's back up to 145. So pretty healthy retrace from that low, and feeling pretty good about the short-term future here, at least until we hit 5,000 again for Bitcoin and the broader market. So let's talk about some of the news that is driving this price action, right? First and foremost, Bitcoin is going to split again. It's been confirmed. There was not a consensus reached among the miners. There's going to be a hard fork that results in a new offshoot, a new Bitcoin fork, right? It's going to be called Bitcoin Gold. I think that's a pretty ingenious name because, I mean, people already associate Bitcoin with gold, and making it a little bit more official in the title just seems to make sense. But anyways, this has some pretty interesting implications on the price of Bitcoin. First and foremost, just like when Bitcoin Cash split on the 1st of August, Bitcoin Gold is going to split in the exact same fashion, and those who hold Bitcoin at the time will get the new currency absolutely free. So that's a pretty awesome perk, and I feel pretty strongly that that is a large portion of why the price action today has been so positive. I mean, look at the price of Bitcoin Cash. Even right now, I think the high was around $800 or $900. It's down to 461, but that's just free money. That $461. If you were holding Bitcoin when it split, now you have this currency for free, and it's just free money. It's just free money. And Bitcoin Gold is going to be the same thing. So that is pretty cool. And I think a lot of people want to get their hands on that so they can benefit just like they did when Bitcoin Cash went live. So this is going to happen. First off, it's going to open for futures trading on October 25th, and then it's actually going to go live on exchanges on November the 1st. Now, I don't have the details on which exchanges and which wallets will honor the split of Bitcoin Gold. I need to do some more research and find that out. And when I do, I'll put it in the description of this video because that is pretty important information that all of us are going to want to know. But so really, November the 1st is the date that you guys are going to want to keep an eye on. That's when the real price of Bitcoin Gold will be realized. I mean, when it goes live for futures trading on October 25th, the price at that time will just be a complete guess as to what the real price is going to be. And I'm sure there will be a spike, just like there was for Bitcoin Cash, and then it'll probably settle down somewhere a little bit more realistic. If I had to guess, I would say the price of Bitcoin Gold is going to be comparable to Bitcoin Cash. They have some pretty big things planned actually for the technology behind Bitcoin Gold. I don't know, maybe they can actually do some things that will make it rival Bitcoin, the actual Bitcoin currency that's going to continue after the hard fork. But we're just going to have to see what happens there. So again, that goes live on November the 1st. Now, the whole idea behind Bitcoin Gold is they're trying to make it a truly decentralized currency because Bitcoin has kind of strayed away from that over the past, I don't know, year or two. The way it's kind of broken down is the miners. There are some very, very, very large mining pools, or just people with warehouses that house, thousands and thousands of these mining machines, these supercomputers essentially, and they can control to an extent the direction of Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin because they have so much influence, because they do so much of the proofing and so much of the transaction verifications, right? So, I mean, the whole idea of Bitcoin is for it to be decentralized, and now the power is kind of becoming centralized within these mining hubs. So, I think this is awesome. What they want to do is make crap. I forgot. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. All right, I can't find it just by quickly scanning it. But what the idea is, they want to make Bitcoin able to be mined on any computer, right? They don't want it to be where you have to have this expensive miner to where you have to really make a massive upfront investment. They want Bitcoin mining to be available to the masses. They want a whole lot more miners to join the network, and they want these massive mining pools to lose a little bit of their control and decentralize the control into the hands of everyday Bitcoin users, everyday Bitcoin miners like you and I, right? So I'm recording this. Oh my gosh, I'm not recording this. I'm live, but I'm not recording it. I meant to be. Anyways, so when I do record, I'm just using a simple laptop, right? It's not powerful enough to mine Bitcoin or anything right now. Not enough to win any Bitcoin package or whatever. So, but if Bitcoin Gold goes live and they achieve their vision, I'll be able to on this laptop. I'll be able to on my backup laptop, my crappy I'll have two computers that I'll be able to mine Bitcoin with, and that will be absolutely awesome. This will be good for, I think, Bitcoin and Nvidia and even Intel, all these companies that sell computers. I think people will, the migration towards tablets and that sort of stuff will stop, and I think people will come back to desktop computers because they'll be very, very useful for mining, whereas as of now they're not. You have to have special mining equipment. So I really like the vision that Bitcoin Gold has. Whether or not they can achieve it, I don't know. They need to draw some developers. They need to draw some market share. I mean, I think Bitcoin Cash is going to fail. I see absolutely nothing coming out of Bitcoin Cash, but Bitcoin Gold, perhaps. They might actually be able to pull this off and achieve the original, true, decentralized vision that Satoshi Nakamoto had when um, back during Bitcoin's inception. So it would be very, very cool to see that happen, but who knows? So another catalyst that we saw today, and this is actually pretty significant. Mario Draghi released a statement. He is the head of the European Central Bank, and essentially what he said is, let me grab the quote. Making his statements to the European Parliament's Committee on Economic and Monetary Affairs, Draghi said that it would actually not be in our power to prohibit and regulate Bitcoin and other digital currencies. So that is a pretty big slap in the face to Jamie Dimon. That's exactly the opposite of what he said. Jamie Dimon's out there saying, you know, he's trying to build up all this FUD to create buying opportunities for himself and his cohorts, and saying that Bitcoin is a fraud and the government can step in at any time whenever they want and completely shut it down, right? Now, Mario Draghi comes forward and says, you know what, in reality, we don't have that much power. Now, he doesn't explain why. He doesn't really give us a good breakdown. But I think these central governments, these central banks, they can shut down exchanges. They can shut down the centralized hubs that right now sort of make cryptocurrency more easily usable and widely adopted. They can shut that down, and that would be very, very, very bad for Bitcoin and the crypto market overall. However, they can't shut down the currency because there's so many options out there, so many privacy coins like Zcash and Dash and all these awesome altcoins that are out there that offer truly private and decentralized transactions. And there's as far as I can tell, there's no way to shut them down. And I think that's what Mario Draghi is saying, or what he intended to mean when he released this statement. Um, of course, the governments can make it illegal to transact, but I mean, it's illegal to buy drugs and human trafficking using cryptocurrency, but it still happens anyways. So even if they make it illegal, I don't think that's going to stop Bitcoin. It'll continue, just not under the positive terms, not out in the open like it is happening right now. So I still hope that doesn't happen, but this is pretty awesome. I'm glad to hear this from Mario Draghi, and hopefully we hear some other realists come forward and kind of back up this statement. We'll just see what happens. Now, not all the news that was released today was positive. All right. So this is an article on, this is CryptoCoinNews.com. The title is Bitcoin price surges to $4,100. Analysts see 5,000 ahead. And it's a pretty unbiased, pretty straightforward article. But at the bottom here, it brings up a pretty good point. And I'll just read this to you. So the subtitle here is SegWit 2x Uncertainty and Current Bitcoin Developments. It has become evident that SegWit 2x is not needed at this stage of Bitcoin development and scaling. At the time of reporting, the average Bitcoin block size remains below 0.85 megabytes, and the size of the Bitcoin mempool, the holding area for unconfirmed transactions, is just over 11 million bytes. Prior to the activation of SegWit, the size of the Bitcoin mempool surpassed 140 million bytes. SegWit has already scaled the Bitcoin network to a large extent, despite the fact that less than 5% of all Bitcoin transactions are SegWit enabled. If over 50% of transactions become SegWit enabled in the upcoming months, the Bitcoin network will be able to scale at an exponential rate, drastically decreasing transaction fees. So let me break this down. Essentially, SegWit 2x is not really going to have the impact that we originally thought. So that's kind of an issue because, I mean, SegWit 2x I thought was going to be a positive catalyst catalyst that drives the market forward. And I mean, it was going to, and it probably still will be an awesome scalability tool, but it still might not have the impact that we originally thought. Um, so what does it say? Less than 5% of all Bitcoin transactions are SegWit enabled, right? So the adoption of SegWit is actually very, very low. And I mean, it has been increasing with time. If you follow Chris Comey in his channel, he's been talking about how SegWit has been um, increasingly adopted over time. I think 4.5%. It says less than 5% in this article, but I think 4.5% is about where we stand. The graph is going steadily upwards, but it's a very, very slow transition, and it's not quite the adoption rate that we expected. So I would consider this to be a negative driver in the market, although it's not having an effect today. And I think that's because, first and foremost, everyone is paying attention to this Bitcoin gold hard fork. That's pretty interesting. And then Mario Draghi, I mean, everyone knows that name. He's a figurehead for central banks around the world, and a lot of people pay attention to what he has to say. And so here's some more negative news that made headlines today. This is talking about Singapore, and apparently firms are being forced to close down their bank accounts, and this is odd. The headline has been almost ignored in the headlines. It hasn't made like actual Bitcoin news headlines. If you, I think if you Google Singapore news, I'm pretty sure it will bring up this article. It's one of the top 3, but Bitcoin news does not bring it up. Anyways, so they haven't really given good reason for this, but they have started to shut down. Here, I'll just read you the introductory paragraph. Singapore banks have closed accounts of several companies which specialize in providing cryptocurrency and payment services, according to 2 local bodies which represent financial and technology firms. Noting that cryptocurrency firms have had similar problems with their banks in other countries, the head of Singapore's Cryptocurrency and Blockchain Industry Association, or Access, asked the government to step in. From our analysis, it appears to be common among leading fintech hubs, Access Chairman Anson Zeal said in an emailed statement. If this is the case, we would urge Singapore to take a leadership role and demonstrate how to come to an effective resolution among all parties. So, they're closing down some of these bank accounts, right? And now the Monetary Authority of Singapore, or the country's central bank, said in the statement that it doesn't interfere with commercial decisions taken by banks, including those in relation to the establishment and termination of business relationships. So these people that are having their account shut down, they're basically pleading to the central bank, saying, "Hey, can you override the authority of these people that are trying to shut down our accounts? This is bogus. This is BS." And the central bank is saying, "No, we don't interfere with that. If the smaller banks want to do that, that is within their realm of authority. They can do that. We're not going to interfere." So the reason why this is weird is because Singapore has been very, very open and very receptive to cryptocurrency in the past. So it's almost like we're being blindsided out of nowhere with this news, and it's going relatively unnoticed, which is kind of strange in my opinion. But I guess it's good. We're still seeing positive price action in Bitcoin. Let's take a look at this. Wow. All right. So when we kicked off the stream, we were at what, 41.70. Now we just set a new intraday high, $4,210. We're up over 8%, and Ethereum is keeping pace, stride for stride. Now we're at $311 for Ethereum, up 8% as well. Litecoin just topped 57, and Neo flat. Good, because I don't have any Neo. Neo can crash. That way I can buy it. Anyways, moving on down the list, IOTA finally did top 55 cents. It's up 6.5% now. Let's refresh this and see what 10x is. I'm going to cross my fingers for 310, 302. All right, not impressive, but we're still, that's higher than it was before. So this positive news is continuing to drive markets upward, and that is absolutely fantastic. So here we are checking into the live chat real quick. We have our first question asked by RDX Titan. I recognize that name. Welcome back to the stream, RDX Titan. Glad to have you with us. The question is, do you think Bitcoin should move away from open source to protect the integrity of their product? Wow, that's a really good question, actually, and I would say no. I mean, the by virtue of being transparent and open and uh, decentralized, that is what drives the confidence in the crypto community and the Bitcoin community. Um, in fact, when if a coin release or if there's going to be a an ICO, they're going to release some company's going to release their own token, and it's not open source. Like they don't have a white paper. You can't find out all the specifics. I would say that's a negative. I would not invest in that coin or in that company because transparency is very important and demanded from the crypto community. So that would be a red flag if it was not open source. And at this point, I think it's too late to go back and be like, you know what, all the all these changes we're making, all these upgrades we're making, you know what, we're not going to share any of it. We're going to kind of close the doors here and keep all this very secretive. That would not bode well with the community, honestly. So I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't do that. But very good question. I mean, I'm assuming you're asking because of all these hard forks that are resulting in new Bitcoin currencies, right? I mean, Bitcoin, it does have a max supply, a hard cap of 21 million coins, but I mean, how many times are we going to split that? I mean, essentially, once we have Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin Gold, now there's 63 million coins that are going to be floating around there, and they all kind of contribute to the core Bitcoin franchise there. So I mean, the way I look at it, there's going to be 63 million Bitcoin in the near future, and I don't see that being good long term for Bitcoin. I don't know how many ways we can split this before it starts having a detrimental impact on the price of Bitcoin. But so yeah, let's say Bitcoin all of a sudden decided not to be open source. They're not going to be sharing all this development information and the blockchain info. Well, first off, I don't know how they can do that. Like blockchain has to be completely open source and completely open to everyone. But I think the idea that they can prevent further splits from keeping the technology kind of secretive is, again, I don't know how they can do that. So no, I don't think they should do that. But very good question. That was an excellent question, actually. Let's keep moving on down the list here. Zcash is about to top 300 now. It was at what, 290 earlier, and now we're up almost 30% for the day. Good grief. Let me just go ahead and punch myself in the face for not buying Zcash. I'm sure Dash. Whoa, no. Dash might still be worth buying it because the recent high was 400. It's still at 350. There might still be some room to run for Dash, but I'm not going to buy it. I don't know. I have this weird feeling about Dash. Something keeps me from buying it, and I can't even place it. So anyways, that's pretty much all I have, and I know Alan's going to be back pretty soon. We're going to roll into our second live stream that will be available on Twitter, Facebook, and the other YouTube account. But again, seeing some very awesome price action today. It's caused by these headlines and the positive momentum behind them, and the negative headlines are being completely shunned and ignored. So I think this price action will continue. I actually bought some more Bitcoin today, just a couple hours ago. I had enough confidence that even though I'm not buying at the low at 3,000, where hopefully everyone was able to buy in, I still think we're going to run up to 5,000. I'm very confident in that at this point. Actually, you know what? Let's check out some technicals. I cannot believe I almost forgot that. All right, so here we're looking at the 21-day average was resistance back a couple of days ago. I think the last time I did a live stream on this channel. We had surpassed the 50-day, and we were looking to that 21-day, seeing if we could contest it. Anyways, we were not able to, and because of that, the price fell down quite a bit. Now the 21-day average has fallen as well, and we surpassed it easily. Not only did we do that, we surpassed the 50-day moving average. That's what this middle blue line is right here. The 50-day average is at about 4,090, just shy of $4,100 there. And we just broke 4,200 and we're still climbing. So it would appear that we just completely crushed the 50-day moving average, and that is going to be very bullish for the price of Bitcoin. And since the broader market is trading pretty much in line with Bitcoin these days, it's going to be bearish for the whole market. I'm sorry, bullish for the whole market. And that's what convinced me to buy some more Bitcoin. Plus, I want to hold at least one Bitcoin and just kind of experiment with Bitcoin Gold when that comes out. I want to be part of the zeal, part of the excitement that surrounds that split. I hope it all goes well. I really, really hope that the Bitcoin Gold fork goes as smoothly as Bitcoin Cash did. And if so, there's going to be a lot of excitement, and I want to be part of it. So I want to hold at least one Bitcoin for that reason. So anyways, we're sitting definitely well above the 50-day moving average, and there's not going to be much between where we are now and 5,000. Now, when we do hit 5,000, and I'm hoping that by the grace of God it happens by the end of the month, because I predicted that back right here when Bitcoin was at a low. We predicted $5,000 Bitcoin by the end of the month and 10,000 by the end of the year. So I hope I don't look like a jackass and that actually comes to pass. It's looking like it could very well happen now, right at the last moment. So it's kind of intense here, but it could still happen. Now, when that does happen, when we reach 5,000, I shouldn't be doing this. I should not be giving investment advice, but I would recommend selling. I think there's going to be another pullback. I'm going to be selling most of my position. But again, take my advice as a very, very small grain of salt. Make sure you are referencing other streamers, your own independent research, pull up some articles, read some of this stuff for yourself, learn the charts, use how to use some of this technical analysis, and then make the decision for yourself. But I think there's still going to be some resistance at $5,000, and I'm not willing to take the risk beyond that. I mean, I bought like somewhere around in here, and I think that if I ride it back up to here, that is a fantastic profit. I'm going to be so exuberant, so happy about that, and more than willing to take some risk off the table. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'll just wait for another pullback, and there will be, it's going to happen, it's inevitable. Back in 2013, it's not even on this chart. Where's it at? All right, well, anyways, there's a pretty epic pullback in 2013 that happened. We have this one right here. It was about a 38% pullback, and then this one right here was about a 40% pullback. And pullbacks are going to happen, right? Anytime we reach these crucial psychological levels, $5,000, at $10,000, I'm sure there'll be another pullback. There's going to be FUD that just so happens to come along at the perfect moment, and it's going to cause a massive sell-off, and there will be more buying opportunities. So I'm pretty confident that I can just take some of the risk, take some of the stress off the table, realize some of that profit, and that'll feel good. Hopefully we don't shoot through 5,000 because then I'll feel retarded, but I'm not convinced that's going to happen. Anyways, thanks for listening, guys. I really appreciate the support. It's good hanging out, and make sure you subscribe. That'll keep you in the loop. And every time we come at you with a live video, you will be the first to know. And don't forget to migrate to our other channel, which I should have put in the description before even starting the stream. If you just go to YouTube and type in Crypto Answers, that's the new channel. We're going to be shifting all the streaming to that channel here pretty soon. We're in the process of that now. That is a branded channel, and it will be good. It'll be better than this, a little bit more professional moving forward. So make sure you subscribe to that. Thanks, guys, for checking in. Hope we're all benefiting. Hopefully you have some cryptocurrency and you're benefiting from this run-up, because it is very, very exciting. And hopefully this continues moving forward at least to $5,000. So as always, I'm wishing you guys good health and good fortune, and take care.